trust is the foundation of everything in life, the foundation of economic systems. It's the foundation of relationships with your colleagues, with your life partner, etc., with your tribe members, as there's so many tribal casinos on right now. So I want to ask Rebecca, how do you build trust amidst uncertainty?
I think leadership trust is critically important during times like now. Three things that I think about building trust would be being transparent, communicating, and to take a people-first approach. I think we saw an example of all of these earlier this week when Arne Sorensen, the CEO of Marriott, released his video to employees. I thought it epitomized what trust is. I think that the companies right now that do the right thing in this moment of crisis are going to create brand and leadership trust that we'll remember for a long time. Before these times, we were all competing for the same talent. When this is over, the way that companies react and the trust that they build, the leadership trust, will be a differentiator when attracting talent. It's been super impressive the way that our industry has come together over the last couple of weeks, organizations. And I think that leaders like us, we can emulate those behaviors even when we're not the person who's making the decision about whether employees get paid or whether we're able to give up our own salary. We can emulate those behaviors on a day-to-day basis by just being transparent, having that people first focus, and using that as your bar. Is this the right thing for the team? People don't expect leaders to know all the answers or have a crystal ball to know what's going to happen next, but they are looking for hope and most importantly for truth.
Tal, did you want to add on to that very quickly? I don't know if you're able to see the questions as well, Tal, right now.
I am watching the comments being made. I see statements like be present, be front facing with your staff, a number of comments. And to the question as core is trust, building and maintaining that trust during a crisis. Rebecca definitely hit this. I put it in 3 phases or stages. Communication leads to respect, respect to trust. So communication cannot be too much information in this environment. Our organization is on daily basis sending out a need to know. We sent out yesterday to our team was the toughest so far. And it was the release of employees will be laid off. This is phase 1. We likely will have a phase 2. We are paying employees through April 8th. So that was a mix of good and bad, sad. But yet those employees that are staying with us, we're trying to hold on to them as well. And that is, again, back to the communication, to the respect to the organization and leaders, showing respect to our team members, and then that trust. It's explicit trust, but without that motivation, the inspiration, the constant presence, it gets lost quickly in the panic and the frenetic energy that has surrounded this day by day, hour by hour.
I couldn't agree with you more. And there are 8 pillars of trust. And the one I want to touch on is consistency. How consistent are you as a leader? Because consistency really builds on trust. And it's things like if you're saying you are going to be calling at a specific time or you're going to be sending a specific email, it's the little things that build up consistently. And it really is, trust is built from what you do consistently, not occasionally. Again, and it's again being consistent with recognition at this point even, and with communication, like you mentioned. I want to take one of the first questions from Judith Wright, who's the president of NNHARA. This is a time of difficult decisions. How do you keep yourself from shouldering the emotional toll? Tal, and I know that you're at that point right now. So what is it that you do?
A phrase that I think Judy may have coined or certainly has embraced as a leader is compassion fatigue. That we on the leader front, we take in a lot of, as a massage therapist, I also know the toxins of all of this. How do we release that? What are we doing for our own good, for the good of others? And so how do you do that? It's processing with those that you can trust, back to trust, being able to process openly, candidly, with curiosity, without judgment, because as leaders, we need to have that connectivity to other leaders so that we are our best leader.
We will definitely bring her on. And when she spoke to me about compassion fatigue, which I'd never heard before, and HR leaders experience a lot of that, is immediately I thought of, I'm going to come up with my own syndrome, and it's going to be the coronavirus fatigue syndrome, because I'm so tired of hearing about it. You know, sometimes we just have to switch off our TVs. Rebecca, how would you build trust without knowing what's ahead?
I think it's okay to be a little vulnerable and say you don't know what's coming, and just be honest with that. I think that the team will respect that you're sharing what you know, and just have a dialogue and discuss how that feels. I think right now, in a time of uncertainty like this, we just need to talk and share what our concerns are, understand what our team's fears are, and then we can try to best address them. But I don't think any of us have the answers right now. So we just got to say that.
How would you balance the ideas of building trust with transparency, and also being flexible and pivoting with those we lead? Difficult to do with new information changing hour by hour.
I think it goes back to dialogue and really understanding what people's fears are at this time. And just, again, being vulnerable and authentic and sharing what you know. We really don't know what next week is going to look like. And so we have to be prepared to pivot when we get new information, and then communicate that information so that everyone on the team is comfortable with knowing why we're doing what we're doing. But I think that's all we can do right now.
And to communicate it quite instantly. I think that's key, that they don't hear it via the grapevine.